Hashtag young gang. I mean, it was real for me today. I mean,
me too.
I got up at the crack ass of dawn.
Time change is always a little rough. I don't know. I didn't used to think so, but as I've gotten older, it's like harder.
Yeah.
And then it gets dark so early.
Yeah, we're recording on Sunday and it's 5 p.m. and it's like twilight.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing sparkly vampires everywhere. It's just ridiculous.
I have not seen any sparkly vampires.
Well, I had planned on getting up early today anyway so that I could try to get my video done, but I'm still I'm putting the finishing touches on it now. Anyways, we're here to learn about the Bible, not about my editing technique.
Okay.
So, are you ready to learn there, hon?
Oh, yes. Please teach me about the Bible.
I definitely will. Okay. So, what we're doing today is Job, but if you don't remember, last time, Nebi failed to take the city of Tyre, the island city of Tyre. So he only got a consolation prize, which was Egypt. And also worthy of note is Jehoi's chin got a free food for life. So he went on socialism.
I mean, that's not bad.
No. We all know God hates socialism, though. Anyways, let's get on into Job.
Okay.
It seems somewhat off the beaten path, to be quite honest, because it seems rather weird that we're just shifting over to all this. So anyways.
Well, it's chronological.
Yeah, I know it's chronological, but still, it's just kind of like randomly, let's shift our focus over to this fuck over here.
I agree. It is very random.
So anyways, Job is a pretty well off fuck. He's a rich bitch. And he's blameless. More importantly, he's blameless and perfect in the eyes of God. So, I mean, he's like, one of those supermodels or whatnot. He's out there in the fields doing his like little poses and everything. And he's like flexing his 12-pack.
Doesn't that seem kind of weird though? Because God is like big on the poor and humble people.
Yeah, and here the rich guy is the one that has all the shit.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Isn't there something about like an eye of a needle or something?
Something like that. A camel's in there. Something about fitting it through the needle or something. Anyways, all right. So, he's a really great guy. His sons would throw these raves for him at night. The ones where they got the DJ music going. They got those little, that with
like our neighbors music in the morning.
Yeah, with like the bioluminescent lights and everything like that. And then of course they got to have the pacifiers because they're doing Molly and shit.
This is not what we talked about.
Anyways, so they got the rave music going on. And all the while, Job is sitting there like, what if my kids sin today? And so he goes and he slaughters about 10 animals ritualistically, while the rave music is going on and everybody's headbanging and everything like that. And he's just, slicing goats' necks. Anyways, it was fun party. But he does all of this just in case his kids have sinned. And so he's doing pretty well for the Lord there with the whole blood stuff. And anyways, so now we switch our scene back up to heaven where God is just sort of chilling in his mansion or whatever kind of castle he lives in. And then Satan and a bunch of angels walk into, I don't know, I guess his like living room or something where he's watching football.
His lair.
No, God wouldn't have a lair.
Why not?
I mean, I feel like
his
lair.
Throne room.
Let's just say living room because he's probably got like a big screen TV watching the football game or something like that.
I mean, a lot of people think that God cares about their football game.
Yeah. I mean, he's rooting for one side and you don't know which one it is. It's always the ones that wins. Though that's the side that God always roots for. Anyways, so Satan walks in and he tells God that he's been kind of walking around the earth, checking things out, peeping in windows and stuff. He was the first peeping Tom, by the way.
Satan?
That's what he was doing in the Garden of Eden.
Rude.
He turned into a snake. He hid in a tree just so he could get a glance at Eve's, titties. Anyways, so in Satan's travels on the face of the earth, God asked Satan if he had ever considered fucking around with Job a little bit. And Satan's like, nah, I haven't. No, he's too good of a guy. He sucks your dick way too good down there. I mean, you should see him. His technique, it's impeccable, is what he says. Anyways.
That's what he said?
That's what he said.
Verbatim?
verbatim.
Okay.
So anyways, God then places a wager on Job's faith, his adherence to faith, his adherence to God. And he bets that Job will remain faithful no matter what Satan does to him. And God says, here you go, Satan, do whatever you want to everything around him, anything that he owns, everybody in his life, but don't touch him. Satan's like, I'll do it. Sold, bitch. And pretty much in one day, Satan fucks up everything in Job's life. Just to give a rundown of a list, just sort of a really basic thing. A bunch of people steal a bunch of his shit, like cattle and stuff like that. Hellfire actually rained down and killed his sheep, and then his house collapsed and killed all of his little spawn that were in there. And then to add insult to injury, Satan plays very loudly throughout the land, "Had a bad day again."
That was rude.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm sure Job was like really confused. It's like, what the fuck? The only thing that could be worse is
having to listen to that song.
Nickelback. I don't think the Bad Day song is a Nickelback song, but if he played like Look at This Photograph, and then Satan like right in front of Job had a photograph of Job and his family and all of his shit, and so Satan walks in and he's like, "Look at this photograph."
I like that song.
Anyway. Anyways, God wins the bet, obviously, because Job, upon all of this happening, Job immediately puts his ass into the air, presents it to God, face down, ass up, and everything like that, and he praises God. And Satan then proposes that, if God just really hammers it home physically to Job, he'll definitely renounce God. Like he'll throw that away, and I don't know. I don't know what comes next. Maybe he starts sucking ball dick, but who knows? I guess anything goes at that point, really. But anyways,
when you don't have God to guide you, anything goes, right?
Exactly. So anyways, God says, fine, do whatever you want to him then. Just don't kill him. Because, I mean, honestly, if Satan kills him, like, there's no way that he can still keep his faith. He's fucking dead.
I feel like it's really fucked up that God would give, like, his impeccable, like, servant just over to Satan to do whatever with. Like, it seems like God would want to protect this guy because this guy has been so faithful.
Yeah.
But no.
You would think so, but nope.
Nope.
God wants Satan to fuck him up.
Fuck you, fucking little toys.
So anyways, keeping all that in mind, that he can't kill him, Satan put sores all over his body. Just randomly. No idea where they came from. They just showed up one day.
That must have been frustrating.
Yeah, I bet. So anyways, Job's wife is really pissed off, and she pretty much just throws whatever plate she was holding, or throws whatever she was holding on the ground, breaks it, and tells him that that she should just curse God and die. Just, get on his knees, say fuck God, and fall over dead. Apparently.
Weird thing for a wife to say to a husband.
I know.
Wish you would just curse this person and die.
Well, especially because like he hasn't done anything to like cause all of this. It's like if you were to blame me if a meteorite struck our house, it's like, fuck you, John.
Fuck did you do that for? Dick.
You and your giant magnets. Anyway.
Do you have giant magnets I don't know about?
No, I don't. I'm just saying.
You're like, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah. Anyways, Job totally ignores his wife, looks up to the sky and says, please, daddy, harder. And Job then has 3 of his brosefs come over, who I guess heard him yell that whole please, daddy, harder thing. And they were just kind of curious, like, what the fuck's going on over here? They come over and they found Job and heard about everything that happened, and they were so sad about it, they dropped to the ground and immediately dusted themselves, like with dust from the ground. They just sort of sprinkled it over their heads, like, and then they sat there for 7 days with Job, not saying a thing. Total silence between all of them.
Okay.
And it wasn't awkward at all. And then one day randomly, Job just gets up and he starts bitching and cursing the day of his birth or something. I don't know. He's like, why was I even born? Kicks a rock.
But not cursing God.
Nope, he doesn't curse God. He's just like, why the fuck am I even here?
think we all ask ourselves that sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially about this podcast.
And that's it. The end.
Okay.
Of today's not podcast, Bible study.
No.
I mean, I pretty much hit it pretty well.
No, you didn't.
What?
Oh, I mean, Sean.
Is it darker now?
Yeah.
It's like after John described that, God decided to shut the lights off.
Yes, it's darker now.
What's up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
So we discussed things, and it got darker outside. Like it's near just completely dark outside.
Yes. And it's only been 13 minutes since the last time we talked.
Right. Not even the vampires are twinkling now.
No.
Just saying.
They don't get. Wait a minute. The vampires don't get. Oh yeah, they twinkle in the sun.
They twinkle in the sun.
I was just thinking they get sparkly at night, but they don't. They're sparkly in the sun.
Right. It's something to do with their skin being crystallized into diamonds or something like that. That's why they don't age.
That sounds awesome.
I
want sparkly, diamondy skin.
You mean to tell me your skin is diamonds? That's gotta hurt when we fuck.
Sign me up.
All right, so I'm ready to learn how I'm wrong about this. I feel like I'm not really all that far off, but you know, I guess you'll teach me.
I mean, you normally feel that way.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like I capture the gist of it, and I kind of update it because you know people always update God's word.
That is true. That does happen.
I'd love to see like a contemporary Bible where it like updates it with like street slang and stuff.
That would be funny if like somebody wrote it today.
Yeah. And God said, "Fuck you."
That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
It would be nice though if they deleted everything that was fucking repeated. It'd be a whole lot shorter.
No. Here's what you gotta do. In those sections, you just gotta say, and yada, yada, yada. God fucked them up.
Yeah. That's pretty much the gist, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to be starting Job.
Right.
Job, we don't know if Job was a person in history or not, right? Job is mentioned in Ezekiel as along with Noah and Daniel. Kind of as one of the leaders, I guess, or prophets, or not really prophets, but just a really important person of God, right?
Right.
And so we don't have any evidence that Noah existed.
Right.
I'm not super learned about Daniel, but I'm pretty sure that Daniel was not considered a person in history. Is he?
No, the Daniel, the whole book of Daniel is definitely a fabricated piece. So, most likely Daniel never existed.
And so, I mean, we don't know about Job. The apologists say we know for sure that Job existed because he was mentioned in Ezekiel, and mentioned in James, which is in the New Testament, which would be irrelevant because all they'd have to do is look at the Old Testament to see Job. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't even make any sense that, well, this person in the New Testament mentioned Job, so Job must have been a real person. One of the other apologetics that I've seen about it is, well, he's talked about as if he's a real person. They give him a family, friends, stuff he goes through in his life. And I'm like, that happens in every fucking book and movie that exists.
I know. It's like this, if this person is described in any kind of way,
as human,
definitely real.
So
I mean, you know, Spider-Man has, you know, whole stories told about him. Like he's got like he's not only got the one version of Spider-Man, but he's got multiple different Spider-Mans in different universes. So, I mean, I guess that's real.
Yeah. Job is also written in a really weird, like kind of Hebrew. It's not your normal Hebrew. It's like God, I read about this earlier. It's like they use some Aramaic and some other words and phrases that are not typical of normal Hebrew. So they use this weird, this book is written in a weird kind of Hebrew, like a weird dialect, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's also stuff put in later. There's also inserted portions later in Job. We're not going to get to any of that today.
No, wasn't the inserted portion like a lineage that connects him to like
Esau? Yes, the lineage that they put in at the end. It's at the end of the book.
Wasn't Esau that hairy fuck?
Yeah.
So Job is connected to Bigfoot. Good to know.
They added this lineage in at the end, I guess, to try to make him seem like a historical person.
You know, I feel like if he really was a historical person, they wouldn't need to fabricate that kind of information.
I mean, if it had been inserted at the time, like I don't know, maybe that would be a little bit more legitimate. But since it was inserted later, it just by somebody else, it just seems like a weird.
Well, that's what I mean by fabricated.
Yeah.
Like I mean, obviously, if it was written like at the time and everything, I wouldn't necessarily consider that fabrication. But considering that they wrote it down, and then people are like, "Wait a second, who's his daddy? Who's he connected? Is he connected to Bigfoot? He looks like a Bigfoot motherfucker."
Well, I mean, you know, they could have fabricated it at the same time as it was written, or they could have added it later and it be true. So, I mean, we don't really know. We don't really know. And we don't know in this beginning portion, the very first few verses, they kind of describe Job, where he's from and everything else, but nobody knows where that place is.
Right.
Nobody knows when he lived. So, I mean, there's just so much that we don't know.
Well,
it's hard to establish that.
Yeah, I agree.
But apologists would definitely say he was a historical person.
Yeah, apologists would. But I would say that regardless of who put the lineage in, it's definitely a fabricated lineage because Esau was not a real person.
Well, they believe.
Yeah.
In any case, are you ready to start?
Yeah, I'm totally ready to start this whole fucking nightmare of a day.
Okay, so here we go. In the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil.
I didn't know this took place in the land of Uggs.
Uz.
Yeah, anybody remember Uggs?
Can we forget?
I can't remember if they were like a shoe company or
they are a shoe company.
They are a shoe. Okay.
I thought you were going to go with Oz.
Oz?
That's where I thought we were going with this.
For some reason, I was like Uggs, and it's just like, wait, they live in a land of shoes? Like, that's where he gets his money.
So anyway, he was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. And I think it's interesting. Blameless and upright. I just have to wonder about original sin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering how much slaughter this guy goes through, which I know we're going to get to here in a second, but we already know that he loves to slaughter animals. Like the constant flow of animal blood for whatever reason seems to keep his sins washed clean.
Got it. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys. And he had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East.
Holy shit, that is a lot. That's a lot. I mean, but considering how much he loves to kill animals, it makes sense he'd need this much.
Yeah, he would need a whole lot, especially if he's slaughtering them for his kids all the time.
I mean, if you think about it, every time he eats, or every, we'll go with every dinner because his kids throw like a rave every dinner. He's got to slaughter 10 animals. I mean, shit.
I'm just saying. Could you imagine if we had to slaughter an animal every time Xander talked back?
I could just see Xander whining in his room like, I don't want to take a shower. Up, I gotta go and kill a lamb now. It's your fault.
We'd be bloody all the fucking time. Shit. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. Well, that's nice, inviting your sisters when you have birthday parties. It's weird that they feel the need to point this out. When the period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." And this was Job's regular custom. So he slaughtered animals just in case his kids had done something or thought something or said something wrong.
Yeah, that's why, I honestly feel like this is like a hypothetical posed by God here. It's like, what if there was a guy who just slaughtered animals constantly just in case something bad happened? That way, there's no question he has no sin.
I know. And I'd be able to smell burning fat constantly. constantly, which I like because bacon.
You think? Do you think that's like a candle scent up at the Bed Bath or not Bed Bath and Beyond in heaven? It would be the Bath and Body Works.
I hope not.
Yeah, God has definitely got a Bath and Body Works in his mansion, right off from the living room. That's where he gets his animal fat burning candles. Yeah.
Do you think he has plugins?
Probably not. I mean, he probably likes the whole fire thing. You know how picky he was about the incense.
That's true. Hey, his angels up there better fucking light that motherfucker, right? Or he will swat them straight to hell.
Yeah, he'll be like Thanos with that shit. He'll just snap and they'll just,
Yep. So anyway, one day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord. And this is interesting to me. We had a little conversation about this earlier. So the word that they use here and translate as angels is actually the Hebrew word for the sons of God.
Yep.
But they use the term angels.
Well, yeah. So anybody that knows like Paul's theology on all this, as well as, the other Jews at the time, God has a pretty big family. Jesus is the firstborn of many children of God. So it makes sense that these angels would be considered sons of God.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at least in the Old Testament, sons of God are pretty much a dime a dozen up there in heaven. God likes to fuck around.
And find out.
He definitely finds out. Some random female angel comes up there with a pregnancy test and God's like, fuck.
Okay, so the angels come to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Seems like a random weird ass question. Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it, because that's where you fucking flung me."
Wait, he doesn't say the pit of hell?
No.
I feel like...
No, he's just running around on earth.
Yeah, it's really weird because supposedly, Satan was flung to earth by God before... before Eden was established and all that other kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now he just gets to pimp walk back in. Like, Satan rebelled against God.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this fuck allowed to just stroll right back in the house?
I don't know. I mean, he's just coming to visit.
Generally, if you get thrown out of your parents' house, you don't get to just come right back.
I mean, I would know. I haven't been back. I haven't tried. Okay, so Satan was roaming around on earth, going back and forth. So the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." It's weird that he's talking about himself in the third person. "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan replied. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse your face." Curse your face.
What is that, like just getting right up in God's face and screaming fuck and giving him a shower?
I don't know. I take it curse your face is kind of the same as fuck your couch.
Yeah.
So he'll surely curse your face.
Like that Rick James meme. Fuck your couch.
Yep. So the Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." This seems shitty.
Yeah.
Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So one day, when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabeans attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." So he lost all of his oxen and his donkeys and all the servants save one that were with. While he was still speaking, another messenger came in and said, "The fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants. I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." So the sheep and all of the servants around them have gotten fucking charbroiled now. And they blamed God, right?
Right.
While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said the Chaldeans, Babylonians, right?
Right.
Formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and made off with them. They needed 3 raiding parties to make off with the camels. Like, that seems like a lot. I mean, he had 3,000, so I guess that seems reasonable.
Right.
They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, "Your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they are dead. I am the only one who has escaped to tell you."
Okay.
This is not exactly how wind works, but okay.
Yeah.
So at hearing all of this, obviously devastating news on 4 fronts, right?
Right.
Or more actually, because you've got the oxen, the donkeys, the servants there, the sheep and the servants with them, the camels and the servants with them, and all of his children and the servants with them.
Mm-hmm.
So basically all that's left of anything that Job has is 4 servants. We don't know if they're his servants, they're messengers, right?
Okay.
Basically all he has left is his wife.
Yeah.
And whatever home he's standing in, I assume, because they did not say that home was destroyed.
Right.
Okay. At this, Job got up, tore his robe, and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing.
Wow.
I don't know why he had to talk about being naked.
Well, and I mean, if all of that had happened, I wouldn't even think, like, even as a Christian, I don't know if I would think God is punishing me.
Well, I don't think but I mean, the point is that he thinks God did it, obviously, because he said the Lord has taken away.
Well, yeah.
And then praises him for it.
Well, right. I guess I don't mean, I wouldn't think that God's punishing me. I would not think to blame God. Like, I would think that I did something wrong to cause that.
Well, yeah, you would have done something which caused God to do something.
But I wouldn't say that it's God's fault. Like, it's a whole, like, abuse, toxic relationship kind of abuse thing.
I mean, if all of this happened, I wouldn't think I did something. I would think that shit happened. Like, well, I don't know. I wouldn't think it was about me.
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about from, like, a believer's perspective. Mm-hmm. Thinking that, you know, like, well, I did something wrong. Like, this is all my fault because I did something and God is having to, like, punish me. So even as a Christian, like, I wouldn't think to, like, curse God or think that it was, like, God's fault or anything like that. Like,
yeah, I mean, I had a very different experience as a Christian, I guess, because, like, I never thought that God was active in anybody's life. So it never would occur to me to think that I'd done something so was being punished. Like, that would never even occur to me.
Oh, that occurred to me all the time.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that is never something that I thought one time.
It was only bad shit, though. Anytime any bad shit happened to me, I thought that I was being justifiably punished by God.
Yeah, see, the idea that God controlled anything just never entered my mind. I mean, I know that that's what a lot of people think, that they think God is active in their lives, and I always thought that was super strange. I mean, even, like, I was Catholic, went to Catholic school, like, was around all Christian people all the time, and I just thought it was absolutely absurd that they thought that, like, God was up there, like, moving chess pieces. I just thought that was so strange. Like, if there was a deity so great and powerful, you think this is what he does in his spare time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like a being like that would have so many better things to do than care about the piddly little shit that goes on in your life. Like, I don't know. That was just always how I felt about it.
Our God is an awesome God. He reigns shit from above.
Well, that's what happened to Job.
Yep.
So, on another day, we don't know when, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" I don't know why he asked. Is this like a thing? This must be like a bro thing, right?
Maybe. I don't know. But here's how I imagine. I imagine, like, all of the angels walking in very prim and proper and everything like that, wearing their angel outfits, and then here comes Satan, who's wearing the leather jacket, mm-hmm. and you know, like, cut up jean pants, mm-hmm. smoking a cigarette, and he's like, "What up, bro?" or something, you know. Like, I just imagine him being a complete douchebag walking in.
See, I see Satan in, like, head to toe red fancy suit, like, looking fly, right?
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't really see that as a rebel. Like, that does come off as cocky, but I feel like he's more, I don't know. It just in my head, it's more of a teenage rebelling against their father kind of.
Oh, see, Satan thing to me seems far more vain. So, like, Satan would not wear ripped jeans.
Oh, okay.
I don't think.
Maybe not. I don't know. He's fictional, so.
Okay, so Satan answered the Lord from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it. This is the same shit. Copy pasta again. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil, and he still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason. Skin for skin, Satan replied. A man will give all he has for his own life. But now stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse your face.
Will he, though?
Mm-hmm. That's what he says. So the Lord said to Satan, very well then, he is in your hands, but you must spare his life. So now, not only has Satan taken everything from Job, but it's weird because while it says Satan is in charge of this, they just said that God said, you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason. And then Satan is saying, stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, right? So it makes it out like Satan is doing these things, but also kind of like on the DL, it's really God.
Of course it is. It's always God.
The Lord said to Satan, okay, he's in your hands, but you must spare his life. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head.
Ouch.
Yeah. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. I do not know the purpose of this behavior.
Job's turning into a real emo.
His wife said to him, are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die. Fuck. Okay, Julia, you don't have to be such a bitch.
Okay, Julia. Seems like such a random name.
It's what came into my head. I don't know. That was probably her name.
Yep.
So Job replied to Julia, you are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? In all this, Job did not sin in what he said.
Oh, really?
So God wins again. God 2, Satan 0.
See, okay, look, this is really unfair. For one, okay, if Satan had made this bet, this was a really stupid bet to make. Okay, because for one, the game is fixed.
Right.
God knows what's going to happen.
Right.
And I'm guessing that it's like maybe it's a commentary on Satan's cockiness, maybe that he's like, God doesn't know everything. Oh no, God definitely knows everything. Like that's one of the core pieces of his character. So I guess I feel like Satan would be smart, even if he is a rebel and like he is in my mind. I feel like he would still be a little smart. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense for Satan to be like, I'll bet this. I don't know. It seems uncharacteristic.
I feel like you're trying to make sense where there is none.
Maybe, yeah.
So Job has 3 friends, all right?
Okay.
Eliphaz, the Temanite, Bildad, the Shuhite, and Zophar, the Naamathite.
Okay.
Anyway, they heard about all the troubles that had come upon him. They set out from their homes and met together by agreement to go and sympathize with him and comfort him. When they saw him from a distance, they could hardly recognize him, because he's got the swords and everything. They began to weep aloud, and they tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads.
Okay.
Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. No one said a word to him because they saw how great his suffering was. After 7 days of sitting on the ground, naked, covered in sores and dust, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. He said, may the day of my birth perish, and the night that said, a boy is conceived. That day may it turn to darkness. May God above not care about it. May no light shine on it. May gloom and utter darkness claim it once more. May a cloud settle over it. May blackness overwhelm it. That night may thick darkness seize it. May it not be included among the days of the year, nor be entered in any of the months. May that seems so dramatic. May that night be barren. May no shout of joy be heard in it. May those who curse days curse that day. Those who are ready to rouse Leviathan.
Arouse Leviathan?
Yeah.
Okay.
May its morning stars become dark. May it wait for daylight in vain and not see the first rays of dawn, for it did not shut the doors of the womb on me to hide trouble from my eyes. So basically he's wishing he was never born. Okay. Why did I not perish at birth? birth and die as I came from the womb, or that. Apparently that's why were their knees to receive me? Knees. Why were their knees to receive him?
I don't know, like what?
I mean, I guess his mom's knees as he shot out and got caught. I'm not really sure.
I mean, is that how they gave birth back then? Like it was just sort of
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. So why were their knees to receive me and breasts that I might be nursed? For now I would be lying down in peace. I would be asleep and at rest with kings and rulers of the earth who built for themselves places now lying in ruins, with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or why was I not hidden away in the ground like a stillborn child, like an infant who never saw the light of day? There the wicked cease from turmoil, and there the weary are at rest. Captives also enjoy their ease. They no longer hear the slave drivers shout. The small and great are there. The slaves are freed from their owners. Why is light given to those in misery, and life to the bitter of soul? To those who long for death and that does not come, who search for it more than for hidden treasure, who are filled with gladness and rejoice when they reach the grave. Why is life given to a man whose way is hidden, from whom God has hedged in? For sighing has become my daily food. My groans pour out like water. What I feared has come upon me. What I dreaded has happened to me. I have no peace, no quietness. I have no rest, but only turmoil.
Oh, okay.
So he's obviously very upset.
Obviously.
And that sad note is where we're going to end the podcast today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to talk about his friends.
Oh.
Yep.
See, this is the first time I've actually read more than just a few verses of Job, or been told about the main plot line of Job. And honestly, I feel like, I've covered everything that I already know about Job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't actually know about the three friends.
There's actually more than three friends, but
oh,
there's three that were mentioned now and one that just appears out of nowhere later.
oh, that's probably Jesus.
No, it was inserted
Oh, okay.
later.
So not, okay. All right, I got you.
So anyway, his friends talk, and I guess maybe try to encourage him, right?
Okay.
They're gonna say, the normal shit, like everyone has trouble. Only God knows why. Blessings will follow you if you have discipline, which is absolute bullshit. And if anybody knows it, right, Job does. The curses, Job's going to explain why he's like his anguish and how much fear he has of sinning while he's in so much pain. He doesn't think that he can depend on his friends, even though they kind of showed up for him, right?
Right.
He kind of gets a little bitter and then questions the meaning of like life.
Okay.
So
this feels very emo all of a sudden.
This conversation, so next week is basically a conversation between Job and Eliphaz. Eliphaz. Elipaz. So that's what next week we're going to be going over.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, if you guys want to tune in for that Broseph conversation, then you'll need to tune in next week. And until then, why don't you guys go down below into the comments. Let us know what you think about Job. What do you think about Satan? You think he's a dipshit? Because he kind of seems like a dipshit in this story. But in any case, let us know what you think down below. And while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of Bible study.
And don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.